Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Drone U Studios. My name is Paul, and today we're going to be talking about the Mavic 3. Now, I know we're a little late to the party in getting out our review, but in waiting this time, we have learned so much about this drone, which is absolutely critical, because I think DJI is playing a very strategic game against their competitors. When this drone first came out, the Mavic 3 was probably the most awkward drone I've ever flown from DJI. But in their new recent firmware upgrade, they have made it a lot better on the sticks. Now, what is the issue? Why does this drone fly so awkwardly compared to other DJI drones? Well, two factors. Number one is the fact that when you get the Mavic 3 or the 3 Fly More combo, you get this crappy remote and you really do not have a lot of settings that you can change. Things like gains. Don't have any gains on this remote. Yeah, you can change expos, but no gains. You can't turn off landing protection. You can't reduce a lot of the settings that make you able to fly drones like this for subject tracking. And honestly, I think if you have the RC Pro remote, you have a lot more that you can see and that you can change. And considering the price point for this drone, DJI is really selling a prosumer drone to consumers. And this little remote, well, this is a consumer remote. There is such a hot game right now between domestic drone manufacturers and DJI. And I think DJI's plan is to allow more and more features for this drone over time. Right now, the Mavic 3 does not have an SDK, but thanks to a Drone U member, we found out that DJI is launching the SDK on this drone in the very near future, whatever that means. Why is that important? Well, because it means that we're gonna be able to use third-party applications to do things like mapping, advanced motions, and scalable jobs for commercial drone pilots. See, here's the thing. In the new firmware upgrade that came out with this drone just last week, frankly, the amount of features has already gone up. The way that this drone flies, it's already better. Because when we first got this drone, it really sucked to fly. What is the issue? The issue is that the yaw is being prioritized on the command inputs over the roll and the pitch.
Whoa, got that.
Also, it does now do naturally banking turns to make those nice, beautiful shots, you know, but before it really didn't do that. Yes, we have this micro 4/3 sensor, and the photos in the video are absolutely unreal. The amount of detail that you get when even shooting mountains really far away is absolutely incredible. This zoom camera that you get is literally better in zoom capability than the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual Advance. We just pushed out our Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual Advance versus the Autel Evo 2 Dual Enterprise. And honestly, that was a much better zoom camera than the Evo, but this makes that look like child's play. Seriously, so I don't think it's gonna be long before we have a Mavic 3 Enterprise, because this drone is absolutely incredible. This drone is so quiet, and honestly, I would argue that it is probably the best surveillance drone ever built. I know, you're like, wait, what? A surveillance drone? DJI? Yes, literally, and I should put this video in this review, flying over the parking lot, and there's COVID testing literally down the block from us. No one could even hear or see the drone, and you can zoom right in to see like COVID tests being done. It's unbelievable, but that also means that as drone pilots, we should have personal responsibility to just be cognizant of the zoom capability. Don't use it erroneously. Don't use it nefariously either. Look, as drone pilots, if we don't want to see our rights reduced, we've got to act responsibly. This drone would actually be absolutely incredible for power line inspections, for roof inspections. Cell phone tower inspections would be really, really easy on this. And frankly, this might be the next best construction drone. But also with construction, because you have this crazy zoom camera, you're gonna be able to look in much more detail when things are going on. Public safety would love this drone because it's so quiet and you have an incredible amount of zoom. I also like the fact that we can shoot 4K 60 with this bird, and it's really unbelievably beautiful 4K 60. I also love the fact that DJI cantered the arms instead of cantering the motors, so your prop wash is more in an X shape, which adds stability. It also adds agility. And the other thing is it's extremely quiet drone. And these props don't even have the little winglet tips. They don't have the weird tips that we're used to on some of the other Mavic drones. So I think this thing could even get more quiet, to be honest with all of you. But at 60, 70 feet, you can't even hear the drone. We were testing every aspect of this Mavic 3, and we've had it now for almost, I wanna say a month or a month and a half. And we were able to manually fly a mapping mission. We did a single grid over the parking lot, so the photos were able to calibrate, and the number of points that I got in the point cloud was astronomical. It's just awesome. The Mavic 3 images, when imported into Pix4D Mapper, showcase that there already is a library. As I click next, notice selected camera model, it already shows up as a Hasselblad camera model. Even if I click edit, you can see that Pix4D is showcasing a global shutter readout. This is the same as a Phantom. So I'll go ahead and run this and show you the results. And yes, we were actually able to utilize those images in Pix4D Mapper. So this drone is amazing for mapping, except there's not a third-party app that we can use to control this drone, which is why I think if you're a smart commercial drone pilot, this drone has a lot of opportunity, but only if you are smart in the way that you buy the drone. So this is not the Cine version. The Mavic 3 Cine has a 1 terabyte SSD and allows you to film, well, in Apple ProRes. Honestly, that's pretty cool, but for me, you're not gonna be flying this drone on set, and most of the clients that would want that Apple ProRes are frankly gonna be at the top end of your production, at least top end of your clients for production. Honestly, if you're a smart drone pilot and you wanna get the most out of this drone, I would recommend do not buy the Mavic 3 Cine. Rather, get the Mavic 3 Fly More combo. And yes, you're gonna get the crappy remote. The key here is to buy the RC Pro remote on top of that package. This will save you about $1,000 to $1,500 depending on what accessories that you buy. So yes, it's not gonna have a huge onboard storage. No, it's not gonna shoot Apple ProRes, but you still get the dual cameras on this drone. And by buying that RC remote, well, now you're gonna have a lot more commercial capability or professional capability to have more settings to control this drone. But here's the thing, many of you know that when we use the smart controller for things like the Mavic 2 Pro or the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual Advanced, that smart controller, they're amazing and they work really great on hot days, but you can't really add third-party apps. Sure, you can do it, but they never run smooth, they always glitch, and pretty much they're useless. If you buy the Mavic 3 Fly More combo, yes, you'll get this remote. But by buying the additional remote, yes, you'll have the increased capability to fly more jobs, do inspections, and commercial work. The issue is with the RC Pro remote, I have a feeling that it's gonna be just like the smart remote where you really can't add those third-party apps, which means having this crappy remote might actually be really valuable. Once DJI launches that SDK and you do have third-party apps, because we know some people are already working on them, you're gonna be able to use them on this remote with your phone. Just boom, pull up the app, boom, and you're good to go. Now that's where the Mavic 3 Cine buyers got screwed, because frankly, yeah, you might have to buy this remote if you can find one, and if it's available, because I couldn't find one, and you're not gonna be able to use third-party applications seamlessly and easily. Number one, the biggest thing is this drone does have a mechanical global shutter. It can map. It's just that without the third-party apps, you have to run all your missions manually, which is very difficult. That said, I do expect those third-party apps to be available by the end of the first quarter of 2022. So if you're like me and you're a commercial pilot and you really want to get the most out of this drone, you want to shoot inspections, you want to shoot nice cinematic stuff, and you want to be able to map with it, well, I think you should buy, again, Fly More Combo. Yep, you get this remote, but also buy the RC Pro remote, and boom, that's how you get the most out of this drone, because yes, it is awesome. This is a great camera payload. The gimbal, look at the drone, it's not on, but notice the gimbal is not moving. They have a new cool little lock feature so that the gimbal doesn't move when you turn the drone off. When it comes to batteries and flight time, frankly, how many minutes of flight time are you gonna get? Well, what I get up here at high altitude and cold temperatures, you're gonna get a lot more. So honestly, it's not even worth me telling you how many exact minutes that you're gonna get. When it comes to being a commercial pilot though, what I can tell you is that there is enough battery power to complete an entire inspection or mapping mission and then go goof off with the drone after that mission. There really is a lot more flight time on these new batteries, and frankly, I would say it's awesome. The charger though that you get with the Fly More Combo, DJI, it's garbage. It's good, it charges a lot faster. It's still garbage though, in my opinion. Still recommend Colorado drone chargers. I know a lot of the complaints in other YouTube videos have been like, oh, the user interface of DJI Fly sucks. I totally agree. It's oversimplified. So I hope DJI understands that because they're charging enterprise prices already for this drone, that they should have more enterprise-like features. And I believe that those are available on the RC Pro remote, that you have a lot more flexibility than the Fly app. The Fly app does not show you battery voltage. You don't have a lot of camera settings to adjust. For example, if you're taking a lot of photos and yawing the bird, the drone has lock gimbal when capture on. Now that's great for mapping, but when I'm also trying to film video, that feature should not be on, and yet it's still on. So you're yawing and your camera's not quite moving sometimes. It's a glitch that I found. Also, you can't control things like precision landing, which I absolutely hate because I want to hand catch the drone. And you can't turn off other features on obstacle avoidance. The obstacle avoidance on this drone is unbelievable. Public safety would love this drone because it's so quiet and you have an incredible amount of zoom. You cannot subject track with this drone. I tracked some cars, and anytime that you want to come across the cars to come on the other side, because the yaw is prioritized over the roll, you literally will lose the vehicle at even 30 miles an hour. You'll lose the vehicle and you won't be able to catch up. That's why, again, if you're doing action sports, you're on set, keep the Inspire 2, keep the Alta X. This thing is not replacing those drones. I would say the Mavic 3 actually is awful for subject tracking as a whole. So boats, planes, cars, and action sports, I don't think this is the drone for you, to be honest. This is an amazing tool for drone pilots. And I would say if you're looking at buying a Mavic 3, just gonna recap one more time, buy the Fly More Combo, but also buy the RC Pro remote. You know, a lot of people would say, oh, just buy the Mavic 3 Cine, and that might be for some of you. But honestly, if you're like me and you are a true drone pilot at heart, you are a true business owner, a true entrepreneur, and you know why bootstrapping a business is so critical, just buy the Mavic 3 Fly More Combo and then buy the remote. You'll save yourself about $1,000. You'll open up a world of more features, and as soon as those apps come out that work on SDK, you're gonna be able to map at very high quality with this bird. So I hope you enjoy this review for the Mavic 3. We're gonna be having a Don't Crash course on this drone. We've got the Cine on the way in, so make sure you catch that. And again, thanks for joining me. I know there are a lot of Mavic 3 reviews out there, but again, in just 1 month, the entire game has changed, because a month ago, I would have told you not to buy this. But now it's like, you can do roof inspections, cell tower inspections, power line inspections. The zoom camera is unbelievable. You can map with it manually right now. And that honestly makes this a very valuable bird. So if you're looking for a new drone, check out the Mavic 3. And thanks again for joining me. My name is Paul, and welcome back to Drone U Studios.